So if your marketing is failing, or your ads are failing to convert, or your website's failing to convert, it's probably because you're not saying the right thing at the right time to the right people. And that's what this training is all about. If you're not familiar with me, I'm John Munsell. I'm the CEO of a company called Bazooka, and over the last 20 years, we've built probably no less than 2,000 websites and been involved in more than 1,000 different campaigns working for clients to help them increase their revenues by getting their marketing right. In fact, we've taken companies that have generated as minimal as 1 lead per year from their website. And that particular client, we ended up in 35 days generating an average of 3 leads per day, and that continued for several years. They went from a $15 million company to a $48 million company in about a 3-year period. So that's what this video is about, is trying to help you understand how you can get your copyright inside of your marketing, and it starts with the buyer's journey. And this is all part of what we call the target phase of the optics framework. So the first thing is to really understand, like we were talking about, what is the buyer's journey? And you might have seen this before in marketing class, and so it starts with awareness. Exactly, how are we going to get the awareness of our potential prospect? How are we going to get them interested in what we have to discuss? How are we going to get them to consider us and start making a decision around us? And then once they become a customer, now it's about post-purchase and repurchase. Right? So at any point along that stage, we really need to understand where they are so that we can address that specifically in our copy. All right. And Eugene Schwartz had a different way of doing this. If you haven't read his book, Breakthrough Advertising, I highly recommend it. I think it was written in like the 50s or 60s, but anyway, it's timeless. It's a classic. You ought to get it. But his breakdown was, all right, first, your prospect is completely unaware. They don't even know they have a problem, right? So they're totally unaware of your product, your service, your solution. They don't even know how they have a problem. Then they move into problem aware. Now, all of a sudden, they've got an awareness of a pain, awareness of a problem, awareness of some challenge that they can't address. And so now they go about searching for a solution. Hey, what is this problem that I'm experiencing? What is it that's going on here? Can I do anything about it? And that's when they move into the solution aware stage. So now they know, there are solutions to my problems out there. So our job at this point is to say, hey, not only is there a solution, but you want to know about our solution. And when they know about your solution, now they're product aware. Okay, so they become very aware of what you have to offer. They also become aware of others out there as well. So between the solution aware and the product aware states, you are starting to enter into a competitive state with your prospect. And so it's critical that we start to address that decision-making process so that we can make them a customer, and our copy has to address that as well. Once they become product aware, then that's when they become most aware, because they have now become a customer and they're now your customer, right? And so at that point, our focus is on how do we address them in a post-purchase stage, and how do we get them to buy more, right? Because at the end of the day, there are only 3 ways that you can increase revenue. You can increase the price that you ask a customer to pay, or the size of the transaction. You can increase the number of customers that you have, or you can increase the frequency by which they buy from you. Those are the only 3 ways. Everything else is a product of one of those 3 ways. So our copy needs to address all of those potential things. So now that you know we have to do that, what we want to do is focus at this stage on attention. Now, the tricky part, if I go back here, the tricky part is if they are unaware that they even have a problem, getting their attention is really difficult. And it's the biggest part of the funnel, but it's also the most challenging. So what we try to do is we really try to focus on people who are in the problem aware state, because when they're in the problem aware state, then we have something that we can address. They're searching for it online. They're communicating with other people. So we can really start to address them. So either way, though, we need to get their attention with something. So we have to come up with a lead, if you will, that gets their attention immediately. Once we get their attention, now we have to attract them into a website, into a funnel, into a conversation, into a phone call, whatever that may be for you. But we've got to get them into some sort of a funnel. Once we get it there, then we have to get them to take action, right? So whether they're on the phone with you, whether they're in a funnel, whether they're in your website, it doesn't matter. We need to have some sort of a call to action. We need to get them to take action so that we can engage them further. And once we engage them further, we're really talking about getting them into what? A sales call, right? Some sort of a sales conversation where we can really begin that relationship building process. Once we have them as a client, now our focus is on client retention and relationship expansion. So those are the linear phase, if you will, phases that you have to go through with your prospects in order to get them to be a customer and to nurture that relationship and to expand that relationship. So the bottom line is, what is all that? All that is really about addressing the mindset that your patient or client or customer is in. And so everything about our copy, our ads, etc., needs to focus on the mindset. Where are they in that state of awareness and pain and discovery? All right. So what we've done is we've kind of broken it down into how we speak to them at these various stages. So when it comes to the awareness and interest stage, what we're really trying to address is their pain. All right. And we found that when we go this sequence, then it's far more effective in terms of conversions. So anything we do at this stage when we're trying to get awareness or interest, the more we can talk about their pain, the more we're going to get their attention. People are 5 times to 6 times more likely to avoid pain than they are to try to gain pleasure. And that's why it's really important that we lead with the pain so that we really understand, or they feel like we understand them and there's a connection there. Now, once we've addressed their pain, we've got an issue we got to deal with, and that's their preconceptions, right? A lot of times they have mistaken beliefs. A lot of times they may have tried something to fix the problem they have and it's not working. They may even Google stuff that is around those mistaken beliefs to lead them down a path of buying something that doesn't work, and now they've lost hope. So we want to address that. We call that the elephant in the room. What are those mistaken beliefs? We want to address that right up front in our copy. Once we've got their attention with the pain, we want to hit them and say, you've probably tried this before and it didn't work because you ended up with this result. That makes them feel like we really get them. So it's really important that you address that. And once you do, then you can move on to what we would call the positioning stage. Okay? And that's where you position your own product against those preconceptions and their pain. So we're going to be really addressing that in this stage. And so we're going to say, hey, you may have tried this and it didn't go well for you. And you probably ended up with this result, but here's where we are. Here's how we can address it. And this is why we're different. And once you've addressed that, that's when you get into the payoff. All right. You don't lead with payoff. You can lead with payoff, and sometimes it's effective. But when you lead with pain, it's 3 to 4 times more effective in terms of getting their attention and getting a conversion. So the payoff is what? The payoff is what's the transformation they seek. It's taking them from hell to heaven. And that's where our copy needs to lead them down that path, but the copy needs to address the fact that we understand that they're in pain, create some sort of a commonality by saying, hey, we know where you've probably tried and we tried it too, and that's why we created this solution, and now here's how we're going to get you to where you want to go. All right, make sense? And then once we've started to establish the payoff, what's that transformation look like? What's their life going to look like? What's their mindset going to be when they've had that payoff? You know, are they going to feel better? Are they going to have more free time? Are they going to enjoy their life more? Whatever it may be, we really want to accentuate the payoff. So the payoff isn't just, oh, you're going to have a prettier car, you're going to have a shiny white smile or whatever. There's something more to it. For instance, if you're in sleep medicine and you're selling, let's say, a dental appliance that addresses sleep apnea, well, the payoff is more than just, oh, you can sleep at night, right? The payoff is better health. The payoff is better cardiovascular circumstances. The payoff is you're more alert during the day. You have more energy. Lots of stuff in the payoff section for that. So really think that through. And then finally, once you've addressed the payoff, you got to provide proof. In the proof section, that's where we could use testimonials, we could use facts, we could use data, we could use case studies, any number of things. If you're doing this online, it's a really good thing to have video testimonials. They're a whole lot more believable than just text, but you want to have both, right? Some people are going to be more in tune with watching a video than they are reading. Others are going to just say, I just don't have time to go listen to a video. I'll read the text. You want to have both. But the more proof you can provide, then the better off you're going to be and the more likely you're going to have those conversions. So the bottom line is you want to touch on all these things: the pain, the preconceptions, the positioning, the proof, and the payoff in your copy. Now, the payoff and the proof can be intertwined, which is why you can kind of see that I have that addressed right here. But go in that sequence and you're going to have a far better result with your marketing. Now that we've got all that, you can see how it maps really well against that product awareness spectrum, right? From completely unaware all the way to the most aware where they're actually buying your product. Let's now talk about what kind of leads you want to put in these places when you're writing the content. So now you've got an idea what the structure is. Let's talk about how we lead into each one of these things. When you're in this awareness stage and you're trying to generate interest, whether they're completely aware or problem aware, we want to lead with those mistaken beliefs and those symptoms or pains or problems, right? That's going to be your subject line. That's going to be your headline. That's going to be the type of blog posts that you would potentially write with a subject line, all right? Next, when they're in that problem aware, now that we've got them, they're aware they've got a pain or a problem, we want to lead with the pain or the problem. And we want to insinuate that we have a solution to it. So the copy doesn't necessarily say you have this pain. It could be any mix of those. It could say, here's some solution that we have, but it could insinuate the problem and vice versa, right? Your copywriter will understand the nuances of writing that kind of headline. But at the end of the day, your copy can't just talk about pain. It has to somehow allude to the fact they'll be out of it and that you have the solution and you're going to bring them to that desired outcome. Okay. In the solution aware state, now we can actually lead with the benefits or the desired outcomes. Then when they're product aware, that's where we're going to lead with the product name, the model number, the proof, anything like that. In the areas where we're now talking to our own customers, that's where we're going to write those value-added email sequences that give them more education, more information, and at the same time kind of point to a better outcome for them. And so that gives us the opportunity to do some upsells, cross-sell offers down the road. So anyway, the bottom line, those are, oh man, I see a typo. Look at that. All right, that should be or. Sorry. Anyway, those are the ways that you're going to be able to lead your marketing collateral, your ads, your emails, etc., by focusing on where your customer is in the buyer's journey. So hopefully that was helpful. If you want to learn more about the optics framework or how to work with me and my team in implementing it in your organization, then I just ask you to just book a call. The link is in the description down below, or you can go to bizzuka.com, bizzuka.com. You can learn more about it there. You'll learn more about the optics framework, about the Optics Academy and the Optics Accelerator, and you'll have an opportunity to book a call with us there. So thanks again for watching. Hopefully it was helpful, and we'll see you in the next one.